All right, so today was a pretty choppy day. Didn't really see much movement at first, so I was just waiting for something to react. Yesterday was a pretty rough day. There was some FOMC and there was also just some high impact news, so didn't really catch anything. And today was just the day after. Didn't see any high impact news, so figured I would be in the clear. And I was just waiting for some opportunity. There's nothing setting up for the first several minutes, so I didn't take anything. And I was just waiting for a reaction of this range. I saw price starting to go down, and I looked for a potential sell. Didn't really see anything. I was still watching it as it was on the edge of the chart. It was attempting to break daily lows, and I went for a short. And that was my first red flag because price should have continued on down, but maybe I should have waited a little bit longer. If it was reversed against me, then it's a possible move to the upside. So that was going to be my next offense. And there we go. I'm just waiting for potential move to the upside. I wasn't convinced of it going down anymore after that stop out. That to me was just showing a lot of chop. And there we go. Seeing a potential reversal back to the upside. And at that point, I was waiting for some more movement. So just taking several minutes. Everything is fast forwarded to 20x. The actual session was about 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and this is going to be about an 8-minute clip. Might be a little shorter, but as you can see, price is struggling to break up and down. So I was waiting for the pivot of the most past 20 minutes to get broken, and that's kind of what it showed right in this next few seconds right there. And I was attempting to look for an entry to the upside, but I wasn't fully convinced yet. I needed to see more buyers step in. I got a nice little potential buy entry after a little pullback right here. That's where I went long. I was pretty convinced that price was going to go up, but at this point you can see it's reversing against me after going up about 1R in my favor. That was a red flag that it may just be a choppy day, but I was willing to take up to one loss. So I was waiting for that to do something, and unfortunately it did not want to go up at even 2R. So to me it was a big red flag. I was willing to take one more trade for the day and calling it a day at that point. As we can see, it did not hit even 2R, and that to me was telling me that we're definitely not in favor of the bulls today. I was getting little signs that it was going to go down, but at this moment you could see that there we go. It was too wide of an entry for me, so I was waiting for my proper entry, and there we go. That was my final entry for the day. So if I were to take that, that's 3 in a row, and I would be done. But fortunately, it did go in my favor, and it started dropping down at that point. So I was in favor of the bears once again because I got in at a high point. At this point, I'm trailing my stop really aggressively because I didn't really see too much follow through. And at that point, we don't want to take any trades if it's not following through. So I was reaching my hour and a half, the 2 hour mark, pretty shortly. So I was trailing stops aggressively. I seen a potential area where I could trail my stop loss, and that's kind of where I looked to trail it. Right around this point, I was bringing it as close to break even as possible. You can see I marked up risk-free trade right there, and at that point I was really convinced it should hit the lows. So I was fully invested in sells. I seen another move, another potential area, but it started faking out potential sell orders, and I was really concerned about this trade, so I brought it down to break even. At that point it was a wrap. I closed out price a little bit over, a little bit beyond the lows of the day, and I could have went for lower, but I collected 2.5R on that trade, and I brought my daily P&L up to 0.4R for the day. There was another potential move down, but as I said, I tried to take a continuation move in the past, and it did not go, so it was a red flag for me. I just waited a little bit longer, a few more minutes to see if price wanted to react to the upside. I was looking for a break to the upside at this point because looking at the past several hours, price was not trending down, so I wasn't going to be you know, the lucky guy to start comping into a downtrend that never really formed throughout the day. It looks like it was breaking out and coming back into a range for the entire day. So that's kind of what I was looking for. At that point, I was just messing around, just waiting, just looking at my, I have a, what's it called, FOREX tester, and that was the software I was using, just going over it. But yeah, you can see I said very slow buying activity, so I didn't want to buy right away. Um, at this point, I definitely don't want to sell it because it's showing me that it's inside of a range again, and that's a red flag. I would like to see lows of the day broken again and a continuation downwards, and that's not what I really seen. It just was sellers getting slower and slower at the lows. Definitely red flag. Definitely don't want to sell it at that point, so I did not. And I waited until my 2 hour limit hit, and it was getting close to that 2 hour limit. Right around here, I started seeing a potential bottom, but it did not want to show any aggressive buyers. So at that point, I figured 2 hours in, I got a good trade in, and I'm just calling it a choppy day. But it wasn't a horrible day. It was just very slow movement. So I figured this could go on and drag on until US Open, which may give me another move or two, but it's not worth my time. So we can see this is attempting to break up. It's failing. It's giving me failing triggers. And at that point, I was convinced to stop.